Hello, Carmen.
Hey, Carmen. Hey, Don. Hey, Emily.
Hello, Don.
We got a couple more minutes. I think I just heard the door open.
Sorry. Hello.
Hi.
Sorry for the delay.
Did you just get back from a run? You sound winded.
No, I did just run upstairs, but not particularly winded.
Yeah. Hey, Margaret. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Doing great.
Right.
Hey, Matt, I think we're good to go if you want to go ahead and start.
That's fine with me. Well, first of all, thank you for joining the class. This is class number 5 of 6. And so we are almost at the end. And I'm hoping that it's helping you in some way to establish your daily practice, or at least think about it. Or if you have already been doing it, maybe there were some reminders in there that we may not be doing, and it may be a good idea to do. But again, this is class number 5, and let's start with our prostrations. Okay. Okay, so plan for today. Obviously, we'll start with our calm abiding and motivation. I'll focus on just a little bit very quickly on class 3 and 4, just to keep us connected a little bit. And then we'll go over today's plan and teachings. And some of the topics are activities that bring success to our practices, especially accumulating merit, purification practices, and heartfelt requests. Then we'll talk a little bit about other purifications, how to bring a little balance in practice. We'll talk about Vajrasattva practice a little bit and its meaning, and we'll do a meditation on Vajrasattva, and we'll dedicate. Okay, so that's the plan for the day. And I also know that last class we reached about 8 o'clock and I went into meditation. There were two or three small things I wanted to mention, so I'll start with that today. Okay, so let's get ourselves situated for a little meditation by making sure our spine is straight, the body and mind are relaxed, and you know the position to sit in with your feet flat on the floor, arms a little rounded, right hand over your left hand, thumbs are touching about 2 or 3 inches right below your navel. Your eyes are slightly open, and your mouth is relaxed with your tongue basically touching the palate of your upper palate behind the teeth, and in a relaxed position. And the point here again is to focus on your breath. Okay, and the idea is to keep your concentration on your breath. And you might find that when you initially start, your mind starts to wander. And all you do is you gently remind yourself to bring your mind back to the breath. It helps with concentration and focus, right? And also is calm abiding. So let's just do that for a moment. So let's set our motivation now. So allow yourself completely present for this time, this teaching session, and recognizing that usually our lives are filled with busy activities, simply concerned with survival or short-term comfort and happiness in this life. Of 24 hours, usually a third of that time is spent working, and a third of that time is spent sleeping, and the remaining time is usually spent doing things like shopping for supplies, food, clothing, preparing, eating, and so forth. The percentage of our entire life that we actually spend in spiritual practice, making concerted effort, is very small. Yet, we have great wishes for what we'd like to accomplish in that arena. So making the determination that since the time that I spend in my spiritual life is very small and usually somewhat distracted, I'll make the best effort. I can listen to these teachings carefully and to try to put them into practice to best of my ability. Why? Because I don't want to suffer. I want to experience happiness, and I have some suspicion that there is greater happiness available, a longer lasting happiness that I could attain. I have suspicion that I could develop greater wisdom, greater compassion, and a greater ability to help others. If I check up in my heart, that's what I wish to do. And I'm tired of seeing suffering in this world, seeing the war, seeing the environment degrade year by year, seeing people fighting, worn out, aging, and sick. And I want to do something to stop all of this. There must be another way. And the Buddha's claim is that he found another way. He identified suffering, he identified its causes, he achieved the end of the suffering, and then he revealed the path. I wish to follow that same path, attain that same state, and then reveal that method to others. So please invite to this place our teachers and our guides of this life, those who are carrying the lineage of these precious teachings to this present day. Ask them to abide with us and bless our minds for this time as we listen to these teachings on behalf of all living beings. Thank you. You can bring your attention back. So today, I wanted to speak a little bit about just a little definition of qualities of Buddha. You know, the whole idea of integrating practices and doing daily practice with the ultimate goal of ourselves becoming Buddha, right? So then if you're applying for a job, you need to know what it is. What is being Buddha, right? Right? So it's a quick definition, but it gives you some idea. So it's a fully developed person in the wisdom wing, omniscience, accurate cognition. Remember, the quality of the mind is to know. Okay? And Geshe-la has so kindly done so many meditation. It's like the lake with a murky water, right? But when the water settles down, the dirt goes down, the water is clear. Our minds are like that. It knows, and it's clear and all-knowing. It's simply obscured right now with so much of our past karma and activities and how we've developed our mind. So it is a fully developed person in the wisdom wing, which is called omniscience, accurate cognition, literally knowing everything, to see perfectly the minds of others, seeing things as they are, right? And then the second wing is the compassion wing, fully developed person in the compassion wing, which is omnipotence, and that's infinite power. The effortless ability to do whatever needs to be done has infinite compassion. Sometimes you'll hear the two wings, the wisdom wing, compassion wing, sometimes the wisdom wing, and they'll say the method. And method is nothing more than things we are taught in Lamrim and in the third scope, how to function with these qualities, being compassionate, developing bodhicitta, equanimity, the six perfections. So Buddha is perfected in all of these aspects. So if you put it together, wisdom that knows exactly what and how, where and when and who, with the capacity to do what needs to be done to perfectly benefit all sentient beings, all knowing, all compassionate, all wise, all pervading. That's what we want to become. And that's why we establish daily practice. Why? Because we want to develop our mind ultimately to be in this state. Okay? So I thought it was important to at least give a little glimpse of that. And then we'll talk about class 3 and 4. I'm not going to go into 1 and 2. We'll cover the whole entire thing in the last class, but I think it's important to make this connection. So we talked about the graduated path a little bit. And we learned about Lamrim, right? So let me see if I have a slide on that. No, so I'm going to talk about it. Okay, we talked about Lamrim. Lamrim is the graduated stages to the path, right? Step by step. It is taken 84,000 teachings of Buddha, and Lama Atisha made the first effort and put a beautiful little book together, Lamp of the Path. And then it was Lama Tsongkhapa, our lineage teacher, our guru, who really put the Lamrim Chenmo together. A lot of details. And then you also have Liberation in Palm of Your Hand, which is a compiled notes by Trijang Rinpoche and a teaching given by Pabongka Rinpoche in Tibet in 1923. Very beautifully put together. If you look at it, it goes step by step, just like the Lamrim. It is just some nice notes that Trijang Rinpoche was kind enough to take for us. So those are our two go-to manuals, I would say. And then we looked at how to meditate on Lamrim and how to use meditations and to get us going. And we suggested to topics like precious human rebirth. So you know Lamrim is divided into 3 scopes: lower scope, the middle scope, and the upper or higher scope. And again, there are topics in the lower scope, then there are a few topics in a little advanced in the middle scope, and then the advanced levels or in the third scope. And the very first scope talks about guru devotion, precious human rebirth, death and impermanence, lower realms, taking refuge, and then karma. Kind of prepares you, it gives you a foundation why this is how things progress, how things work. And it also gives you some urgency. When you think about death and impermanence and precious human rebirth, to me, that's a flag that this is a precious human rebirth because I have an opportunity to do something. And the impermanence and death, it shows us that things are impermanent, which is wonderful, but death is inevitable. It can happen anytime, right? So we need to do something about it. And then we talked about within precious human rebirth, we give example of what they call 8 freedoms and 10 endowments and all that. Not to dwell too much into it, but remember that the reason they talk about this is, if you look at the freedoms, you're not born in an animal realm, for example. Thank goodness, right? You are in a human realm. So you have the ability to do something about it. If you talk about richnesses, you can talk about you are not only a human, but dharma exists right now. And you are able to go to Kadampa Center or come to classes like this or listen to Geshe-la and our teachers. And then you have Sangha members and your Dharma brothers and sisters for support. That itself is a richness. Just think for a moment if you were in Haiti today, right? Where gang members are taking over and killing people. You think about where bombs are falling every day, where Dharma cannot flourish. There's no Dharma talk. So very precious human rebirth that we have, and we need to take the opportunities. And what was important to talk about that is you need to generate experience. It's not about just doing a meditation, right? We can all open a book, do a meditation, get a little calm. The idea is to generate experience. You gotta take 1 or 2 points that resonate with you. Okay, maybe lower realms doesn't work, but being a human being does. Maybe it makes sense. I'm glad I'm not a dog or a cat or a lion or a monkey or something like that, right? It makes sense. So it takes a topic and work with it for a couple of days, right? Till you really feel the importance of precious human rebirth, right? And so that's the key point. And then you can use some glance meditation. And I gave you an example that is in page 149. Or if you want to do foundations of all good qualities, it walks you through the Lam Rim. You just pick a topic and then sit with it for a couple of days and see how it works with you. When it gets into you and you feel like you really get it, that's when you can move forward. So it's generating that experience, that aha moments, and then become familiar with the flow, go a little deeper, and then you'll find out how things are interwoven. All these topics are interwoven. But it sets you up in a nice little cadence. Okay? And in class 4, we talked about protecting our minds. I showed you those training in the 8 verses. And then we talked about wearing Lam rim glasses. So it's not only preparatory practices and cleaning and offering and doing your refuge and then sitting for meditation cushion and then doing mandala offering, making requests. Those are some preliminary things you need to do. But what about the rest of the day? What about daily life? Right? It's not like you do this thing for 15, 20 minutes and then forget about it. That's not integrating, is it? Integrating is really changing who we are. We recognize that we are in samsara. We recognize we have responsibilities. We recognize we have to live, we have a job, we have to do things. However, you can take those moments and also convert into a positive thinking. There are little things we can do that remind us about the Dharma practice and making those positive changes. So we talked about Lam rim colored glasses. Take a topic, put your glasses on during the day, look for opportunities where you can use that visual in your mind. For example, going to the grocery store. You see people kind of tired sometimes and say, oh, I'm so lucky to be human, and I'm so glad that I have Dharma practice. Little things that can give you a positive reinforcement, right? You can look at the classes of impermanence, the homework we had given, for example, looking at how things change. Everything changes. The leaves on the trees change, right? You look at your carpet. That doesn't look like it was maybe a year ago. You find scratches on your floor. Look at everything, our age, our friends, us, our parents, pets, everything is changing. So we know it's impermanent. Things are not permanent, right? So you can use your lamb rim colored glasses. And we talked about the walking meditation on impermanence. Just choose a place, go in the house, and just walk and kind of think about that. Look around, see if anything there is permanently there that's not changing. Everything is changing. And it's a good news, right? Because we are changing, we are able to adapt to positive thinking. If we were stagnant, then you are what you are. If nothing, there's no change. Then there's not a precious human rebirth anymore. So it's good. Okay? And then feeding our Dharma practice, some helpful activities. And we talked about so many things, like people go on retreats, some people have tattoos, some put poster boards, some put some things in their cars. We can remind ourselves of some quotes and stuff. What I forgot to mention was Lama Zopa Rinpoche has this beautiful book. I don't know if you can see it. It's my screen is blurry, but it says, taking the essence of all day and night, practices to make every moment of your life meaningful. It's a small little booklet. And it says, Bodhicitta mindfulness. When you wake up, think, may all sentient beings achieve Dharmakaya, the holy body of Buddha. When you get up from the bed, think, may all sentient beings rise up in great oceans of samsaric, from great oceans of samsaric suffering. When you get dressed, think, may all sentient beings wear the dress of shyness and shame. When you put a belt on, may sentient beings mind to be bound by 3 higher trainings. I mean, he has all, when you open the door, you're welcoming Dharma. Even in our bathroom in Kadampa centers, we have those little sayings all over the place, right? So you can figure out few things that remind you, and what are you doing? It's not like you need to memorize exactly what he said. The idea is to change the mind, right? How we can align with our practice, our dharma, our journey, and to positively impact and integrate those practices. That is the key point. It's not exactly how you say it, and I didn't say it right, and do I say this first, and don't worry about that. It's the quality, your intent, your motivation. So those are good things. And then we do self-evaluation practices. Some people do it. Some people, the monks sometimes they'll have white rocks and black rocks in the pocket for all the good things they did and followed their practices, and all the negative thoughts that they had, they put them, at the end of the day, they count it. Some people take journal, and some people actually make a matrix of everything they're supposed to do and see how many positive things they did out of their commitments, and then how many negative things. So all ways to manage it. Is it necessary? Not really. But at least that there are some options as you're beginning to learn these things. You can check upon yourself and see how your mind worked all day long. You'll be amazed that there are so many good things you do, but there are so many subtle negativities that we just latch onto without even knowing it, that we're doing it, right? And then everyday dharma, right? It's everything from the day you wake up till you go to sleep. Everything you do can be converted into positive dharmic practices. And then we talked about some vows, right? We talked about lay vows. And I have some notes. I want to just make sure that, so lay vows of no killing. I have a slide on it. No lying, no sexual misconduct, no stealing, no intoxicants. Now, there's a whole bunch of write-up on this. You can look into it. as much as you want to. You don't have to take all vows. And some people don't even have taken any vows yet. But when you take refuge, you take these lay vows. And you can take 4, 3, whichever work with you. Okay. And usually taken with a teacher. It's a great ceremony when you take refuge and take those vows. It's a beautiful, you get a little booklet and you get a new name, and it's kind of exciting, right? It's a commitment. And they say once you are in a vow, whatever you do multiplies. Is one thing to help somebody when you've not taken a vow, but when you have a commitment in your internal being, and when you do it, it's constantly with you. It works all the time for you because you've committed to it. So it multiplies. Okay. And so then there are 8 Mahayana precepts on holy days, on when you go to retreats. They take precepts in the morning, usually taken with a teacher in the morning, first time. Then once you know it, then you can do it on your own. And this is a practice almost like what a day of a monk looks like, right? You want to live like that. And it was made originally for kings in olden days when they had the luxury of everything and they had to run the kingdom, but they wanted to still practice Dharma. But it's converted, and Lama Zopa Rinpoche has a beautiful, beautiful book called The Direct and Unmistaken Method, the Practice and Benefit of 8 Mahayana Precepts. Just fantastic book. It talks about why you do precepts. It talks about how to do it. And you can do it for all day, 24 hours, or you can do it for a couple of hours or just an hour. But it's good to try it sometimes. And what you do is you take a vow in the morning to not kill, steal, engage in sexual contact, lying, taking intoxicants, eating at the wrong times, sitting on high seats, so, just to manage and humble yourself. Jewelry and perfume and makeup and all that. And you kind of limited food intake. They usually take it, I think, before noon, right? So, and some people eat, sometimes if you need to, you eat something very small in the evening, but you can do it for 24 hours. But when you go to retreats or when you have holidays, they usually at Kadampa Center, Geshe-la or Geshe Sangpo will give you precepts. So try it out. It really is amazing when you do it and you do your practices all day because you're not watching TV and you're not wearing jewelry and you don't have a makeup and you've kind of taken a little quiet day. It's amazing how it works in your mind. Okay. And then I did not forget, we ran into a time crunch last time. I just briefly wanted to talk about yoga of eating. You see, a lot of times we serve food to Geshe-la and he'll do some prayers. But for our purposes, some people simply say Om Ahum, okay? And that's fine. There is no major condition that you should do this and you shouldn't do this. It is just good to know that page 207 in your gold prayer book, there's a food offering prayer. And just know that Om Ahum, you're thinking about the body, pure energy of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, white in color. Red in color, pure energy of speech of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And mind, which is Hum, which is blue in color, right? And this is the wisdom of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So when you're saying Om Ahum, already you can put the colors with it, white, red, and blue, body, speech, and mind, right? And then in a space above food, you see that Om Ahum. And then as you recite Om Ahum 3 times, visualize that they send out light rays to all the holy beings and absorb their qualities of body, speech, and mind, which we just talked about. And this enlightened qualities then absorb into the syllables of Om Ahum, and then these syllables melt and absorb into your food. Okay. Now think about this in 2 ways. You're doing this, but our dualistic mind is looking something outside, but it's really, you are integrating a higher thinking in your own mind, right? You're offering food to your Buddha in you also, right? And to your teacher. So then think about this. So the syllables melt, the food transforms and becomes incredible nectar. And so before you partake, pause for a moment and think of your teachers. Remember their kindness to you, the kindness from teachings and the things that they have given. Okay, and then offer the ocean of nectar to them. This is very quick in your mind. When you're looking at this slide, it seems like, okay, I gotta do this. But if you say Oma, Oma, Hum, Oma, Hum, you already know what is Om and what is Ah, what is Hum. And then how they absorb into the food. Food is purified. You're thinking about your teachers and you're offering to them. And when you partake of it, think you are feeding your enlightenment. Visualize that you take this nectar and it trickles down your throat, and like a shower, it makes an offering to Buddha at your heart. And imagine there is a bliss being experienced in that mind. It's an amazing offering. It's a very beautiful practice. When you eat something, just take 30 seconds and just do Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Now, if you want to get a little advanced, you can do what they call the cloud mantra, and you have to memorize that. According to Lama Zopa Rinpoche, if you say the cloud mantra, it is, I don't know how many syllables are there, but it's got 3 or 4 lines in it. And if you say it, it's like according to Lama Zopa Rinpoche, it's like sands on the Pacific Ocean beach. It multiplies that many times. So everything is in millions, right? And eons. So according to him, cloud mantra has that much power in it. So, you're offering, remember, you can offer small or you can imagine large. So whenever you offer large, but you are, at least before partaking, you can say Om Ahum and offer it to your teachers and your Buddha and yourself. So that's the yoga of eating. And then there's a yoga of sleeping. Because we are integrating practices of our Dharma, so we have morning practice, evening practice. What do you do during the day? How do you integrate some things? We've gone through all of those long-term classes, but then that's the time for sleeping. So what they say, if you've seen Buddha, sometimes in Thailand and other statues, is laying on his right side with his hand here. That's how he passed. That's how he went to Nirvana, I should say. So you lie down on your right side, your right hand just pressed up against your right cheek. Start there. Even if you can't stay sleeping in that position, think, may I pass away from sorrow like the Buddha himself. As you lay on your right side, imagine that you're lying with your head on the lap of either your teacher or Shakyamuni Buddha, and with a great wish to always be with them. So think about what you're putting that in your mind, right? You're putting a positive thought in your mind that you always want to be with your teacher, right? And always be with your mind, with Buddha mind. Pass into sleep with them in your mind. And then when you wake up, remember that you are in the lap of the Buddha. So visualize that as you wake up, the Buddha melts into the light, enters into your crown, and descends into your heart. Then obviously in the morning practice, you can say bodhicitta sayings. I'm glad I'm alive today. I haven't died. Just develop some sort of a motivation, intent in the morning, and then do your practices. But these are thoughts. And once you get used to this, and if you do it, then it's not that difficult and it's very quick, but it's very hard to make that move first, right? We go to sleep watching TV sometimes, and I fall asleep, right? And I'm like, okay, I didn't think about it, right? But as you do it more and more, it does come up, and then you think about it. Anyways, then you can do your eating yoga and go on to doing a morning practice. Any question on yoga of sleeping and yoga of eating? Just a quick. All right. So today, let's talk about this. Let me get my notes. Okay, so today we're going to talk about some accumulating merits, purification practices, and heartfelt requests. That's the key pieces today I want to talk about. So, bringing success to our practice. You often find sometimes you simply don't have energy. You're tired from work and you have a block. You read a text and nothing is going in. You read a mantra and it doesn't resonate. Just no enthusiasm. And it's said that indicates some blockage, some obscuration. Something is stopping you. You need a pick me up positive energy, right? So accumulating merit is one way of increasing your positive energy. So what we need to do is some extra things, right? You can be helping others, being of some service in the center maybe or somewhere. You can, people think generosity always means money. It's not true. People are generous with their time, efforts, offering to the teachers, doing the bowls, making satsas, service, giving some service to your teachers and Sangha members, helping each other out. Even when you go out, help somebody cross the street, right? So many little ways you can show kindness and helping others. That's making merits, right? And they say King Ashoka, who established Buddhism, he became a Buddhist after killing so many people. He converted to Buddhism. He made thousands of stupas all over India, and when he used to offer sand to Buddha, and he was to imagine that he's offering gold. So it was the quality and his intent that mattered. And then he was able to make thousands and thousands of beautiful stupas all over India, right? So the quality, what you offer and with what heart you're offering. Taking care of your parents. And sometimes I hear over classes that some parents and their children don't have good relationship. However, just know in your mind that they did give you this body, and therefore you have a precious human rebirth right now. So have some sort of compassion for that. Maybe you can be helpful to them, have compassion for them. Then you can do other traditional things like mandala offerings and water bowls. Whatever you do, the point is do them well and skillfully, and again, create that positive energy. Right? So here's one good example, helping others, generosity, things I just talked about. But just kind of think about it, ways we can be kind. You are also fueling your own positive mind. And you'll be amazed when you do these things, your mind somehow softens. And when it softens, you will see text will make sense, mantras will make sense, things will happen for you. So let's talk about purification practices. Okay. So again, I was just mentioning not long ago about how things feel blocked and how we cannot visualize things and how things don't come to you. What we need is to be pure. We need purification practices. And what we need to do is you start with what they call 4 opponent powers. And what we just to give you some background on that. So there's a power of regret. In Buddhism, we don't go after guilt. Guilt is still self, poor me. There's no guilt. You realize you've done something that was not ideal. You move forward with a resolve not to do it. You don't dwell. I've done something bad. I'm horrible. I'm terrible. I'm bad. You don't want to do that. You want to regret something that's done. Be factful, be realistic, move forward. And so the power of regret is a feeling deep regret for any negativity committed. Then there's a power of reliance. Okay, we rely on what we call 3 jewels and refuge. Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, all these teachings. That's our reliance. We have an issue, there is an antidote for it. That's a teaching on it. Right? So you rely on that. What did Buddha say? How to get out of suffering. I know the cause now. What is my path? So you learn from that and you rely on the teachings. And then the power of remedy. Apply antidotes, do purification practices. If you took something, return it. If you were negative to somebody, be kind to others. Try to be kind to a couple of people and see how it works. And you try to apply antidotes. So you create remedies and then have a resolve that I will not do this again. Even if it doesn't mean forever, but try small first, right? For today, I will not lie for 1 hour. We can try very hard on that. Or I will not be angry for 1 day. And I'll watch my mind. Take small steps, because you don't want to say ever again, because our mind is too as habituated to doing certain things. So you take small steps and then rejoice if you're able to do it. Okay. And they say that some of these tendencies are not just things we do today and yesterday, but they've been there from previous lives. You know, you don't know when the karma will blossom or have a fruition of whatever negativity or positivity you did from previous life. So those tendencies are there. So when you do purification practices, you're trying to remove all of those bad karmas. Okay. And so think about some not so ideal situations in your life. Think about some tendencies and habits and where your mind goes all the time, and work on those. Okay. And maybe you can clear it out. Just at least the main things they talk about when we take different vows, like not killing, sexual misconduct. Think about those. When they say, for example, sometimes you wonder why people don't listen to you. Maybe at some point in your life or last life, you gossip too much. And, this time you find people are not listening to you. Or you lose things all the time. Maybe in previous life, you took things and never returned them. And that person had to look for it. Maybe this life you have to look for it. Right? So there's always this connection. Karma is not something that it's like a gravity. It's not a punishment. It's like a law of gravity. You do an action, there is an effect. Okay? And all you can do is undo it, purify it, so it doesn't happen again, and your next stage in life is better. So don't get into a guilt trip. Oh, I'm horrible. I didn't do this good. I must have done so many bad things. That's not correct thinking. We've all done horrible things. We've all done wonderful things. Both. But if you know something keeps creeping up in your mind, negativity, then you got to work on it. And then that's purification practice. So we will talk about Vajrasattva practice, and we'll talk about these prostrations to 35 confession Buddha. Okay. So this is very big in our Gelug tradition, especially in FPMT. They say Lama Yeshe immediately got people into Vajrasattva practice. He was very big on Vajrasattva practice. Now, I don't know if you have this book, but you can get this very easily from Lama Yeshe archives. I think it's free. It's a small book. It's exactly like in the picture. So this you can do daily. It is a very strong practice, and it clears away lifetimes of garbage. It's very powerful. Just try it one time, and you'll see how it really is amazing practice. Then this short practice is composed by Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And then if you want to really, really look into details of it, you can get familiar with Lama Yeshe archives. Please, if you don't have it on your phone or your laptop or your iPad, find that, make that your site to go to. There's commentary on just about every topic we'll be talking about in all topics during the module. There have been retreats, commentary by Lama Zopa Rinpoche, by Lama Yeshe. There's a dictionary about each and every word. If word you don't understand, they try and give you a meaning of it. So it's a wonderful place to go to. And there's a retreat book on Vajrasattva practice, exactly how to do it. If you are interested in pursuing this integration practice in module 14, your certification program in FPMT on your own for discovering Buddhism, that's requirements of 100,000 prostrations. There's a retreat book. I mean, you can get as deep as you want to, but for daily practices to purify yourself, you think about when you clean your house on a regular basis, it's kind of easy to maintain, right? Now, if you don't clean your house and you collect and collect and collect, and then 3 years from now you want to clean your house, it's very hard. So it's the same way, same analogy. You want to kind of work on it on a daily basis. You come from the work, think about your day, do a quick Vajrasattva practice to think about what things came and what some obscurations came in your mind. Maybe you raised your temper too much. Maybe you slighted somebody. Boom, you can do Vajrasattva practice and say, it's a reminder. And then before it happens again, it will pop up and say, maybe I shouldn't do that. It's amazing how it starts to work on you. So it's a very beautiful practice. We'll actually do a little bit of it today. And then don't underestimate the prostrations, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Right here. This is also a very powerful practice. And as you remember, in the morning practices, Lama Zopa Rinpoche said that you can do prostrations. It has benefits on many levels, even physical. When you're doing prostrations, right? Energy is all lined up properly. Your chakras are working. So you get a positivity. It's good for physically also, because you're bowing down, right? You're moving up and down. So it's good for your body. But it has many, many powers. This Buddha's promise that these are qualities of an enlightened mind. These Buddhas are different qualities of an enlightened mind. And when you take their name, you are in essence purifying and bringing in those qualities in you. So a lot of people first do it once or twice and they say, I can't do prostrations 35 times. That's too much, right? So no one is saying you have to do 35 times. If you follow Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you will be laying down and not getting up. He does them so quickly and so fast. What has helped so many people is some people will tape. There's a practice, you can find this again. I'm not advertising any books or anything like that, but if you're interested, FPMT has a beautiful booklet, Preliminary Practice of Prostrations. It gives you a great benefits of prostrations, talks about it gives you a commentary. It tells you how to do true confessions. It tells you exactly what to do and options for practice. And what do these Buddhas mean? And so it's a very powerful way of doing Buddha. So what people do is they'll record it. And as it's going on, you can do one, and maybe the mantras keep going. And it doesn't matter, you do 10, maybe 15 in the beginning. As you get good at it, you can increase 1 prostrations per Buddha, and think about that Buddha and the quality. And you can imagine that Buddha is coming to you in your mind and is enlightening you with that quality. And so it's a multi-pronged approach to this practice. It's not only purifying, but it's immediately giving you some benefit of prostrating to these Buddhas. And you receive a lot of positive energies. Okay, so this is a wonderful way. And remember, it's a practice in compassion. This is not about I did this wrong and I did this wrong and I did that wrong. If you had a dirty window, instead of blaming somebody, you should think that I'm going to clean this out so I can see the beautiful scenery outside. It's the same way you're cleansing your plate from all kind of obscurations and saying, I just want to become Buddha. I want to have good qualities. And if you approach it from that angle, this becomes a little easier rather than focusing on, I did this, so I need to do that. And that becomes a little bit of guilt driven. So make it positive. So that's 35. There's plenty of writing, even in your gold prayer book. There's some little nice prayers of how to do confession and how to actually do the practice a little bit. It's also in the prayer book. And then the very important thing is to make this heartfelt requests. Okay? This is quite an important. So first of all, before, when you reach the advanced teachings of emptiness and bodhicitta, you need to have a daily practice, and you want your teachers to teach you. And we want to have a teacher. This is one of the most difficult things for many people, having a teacher and thinking that all mother sentient beings were your mother. These are two things Lama Zopa which is very difficult to go through our thick skulls. But if you think through it, it's very, very powerful. I tell people, if you want to be a pianist, you can only do so much Googling and learn piano. If you really want to be a good pianist, you need a mentor, you need a teacher. And I also tell people that you cannot learn to walk and crawl when you're a baby on a Google, right? You need your parents to hold your finger. Okay, a mother to tell you, don't do this, right? So you need parents, you need teachers. And you cannot underestimate the power of a teacher. If you don't have a teacher right now, that's fine. You can always look at Shakyamuni Buddha as your teacher. But it's important to get into advanced practice that you have a teacher who understands you. In old days, students used to be given away to the teacher and they would go away for so many years and learn and come back. Well, nowadays, teachers are traveling. We are doing Zoom meetings, right? We have CDs and all kinds of ways to teach, but it is nice to have a teacher that you can relate to, you can speak to, who can give you some guidance, right? And so it's important to understand that. And so let's see, we talked about that. So you want to make these, and teachers can manifest in many forms, right? It is not always necessary that you have to have a Rinpoche as a teacher. It's not necessarily always have to be there. Teachers come in many ways, and you just need to recognize, and it will resonate. If your practice is deep enough, you will recognize, right, that they are there for you. So be aware of that. And then I want to talk about, and you should make it part of your daily practice. It says in Lambrim, you should do Guru Yoga every day. So what does Guru Yoga mean? So Guru means Lama, or Guru means heavy with qualities. And Yoga means union. Okay, so it's a union. You want those qualities in you. So you have two ways of thinking. You have a teacher who is here and is teaching you, and you can talk to him at a conventional level. But then you have absolute Guru, which is the Buddha, the essence of Buddha, the omniscient mind, the omnipotent mind, who can manifest in so many ways. And remember, that's what you want to become. So you, in essence, are trying, by developing Guru Yoga, you're saying, I want that essence to become a Buddha. This is not about how he walks and how she talks, right? And what do they wear? Those are at a mundane level, okay to know, but that's not the important. Important piece is you want that essence of the Buddha mind. And you're learning, they're teaching you. And Buddhas can manifest in many forms. And they can come as a teacher to you. They say Dalai Lama, His Holiness, is like Chenrezig Zig, compassionate one, right? So don't underestimate the value of a teacher. Don't just say, yeah, I don't believe in that. I'll just read a book. I'll go on a Google. I'll go to some of these things and learn. There are people who have become Buddha without teachers. However, they say that they've had teachers in previous lives and the teachings continued for them. But typically, for our purposes, the importance of Guru devotion is absolutely mentioned in Lamrim, so I have to mention that to you. Okay? So you want to make heartfelt request. You can also make heartfelt request on a day-to-day basis in your meditation to Shakyamuni Buddha, right? The enlightened mind. And if you look at the foundation of all good qualities, let's see, if we have 5 minutes, I'm going to talk about that. Let me just open this very quickly and share something with you. So it's in the prayer book on page 136, and I'm just going to read one or two things. It starts by The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect, pure guru. Number one statement, correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. So you see, it's a prayer, begging, I want that. I want that essence. I want those qualities. So you are telling your mind that you want to develop your mind to become Buddha. That's why you need guru devotion. Now, if you go to Lamrim, the very next thing we talked about was precious human rebirth, didn't we? So look what the next statement says. Understanding that precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. He's talking about precious human rebirth. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. And I'll do one more point and we'll go forward. This life is impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the result of the black and white karma follows. So you can see death and impermanence is there. So this is Lamrim in a very short way. If you were to get used to doing this, or what I have done, I'm just giving my personal opinion, I have kind of recorded this. And as I'm doing my walk on the treadmill, or when I'm walking, I put my headphones on and I play it. And I just kind of listen to it. And now it's gotten in my head a little bit, right? So it's another way to do it, right? So Don, I heard you go jogging. It's another way to do foundation of good qualities. Put your headphones on and have foundation of good qualities. But again, there's different ways to do these things. And the whole idea is, I keep on repeating, but this is integrating to your mind. If you want to change, you feel this way and why you feel that way and why do I have anxiety? These are some of the ways you can make changes in your life. Okay, so those are heartfelt requests. We talked about there are many types. We typically have 4 or 5 purification practices. Gelugpa adds 4 or 5 more. Besides prostrations, Vajrasattva, mandala offerings, and Guru Yoga, we do water bowls, satsas, fire puja with Dorje Khadro, offering, and there are some higher level of samaya. If you break your samaya or pledge, you need to do some mantras. So they have all these practices. Okay. Remember one thing, you hear a lot of stuff. And so you start to get confused, like, what am I supposed to do? When you get overwhelmed, just relax, take a break, start slow. Okay, it's okay to relax and things put some flow together, and that will help you out tremendously. Okay, don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's not a stamp that you must do this and you must do this and you must do that. It's your quantity. Do little, do well, but these are options you have. Some things it will be very beneficial. This is the meaning of Vajrasattva mantra, and then we'll do the meditation. Okay, you see this word, you see this many times. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Tena Pratishtha. You see this in 100 syllable. This is the meaning behind it. O great being, whose holy mind is in indestructible nature of all Buddhas, having destroyed every obscurations, attained all realizations, and passed beyond all suffering, you have attained the realization of things just as they are. Do not forsake me. So again, your mind. Please bring me closer to your Vajra holy mind and grant me the ability to realize the ultimate nature of phenomena. Please help me to realize great bliss. Lead me to your state and grant me all powerful attainments. Please bestow upon me all virtuous actions and glorious qualities. Right? Now, there are detailed explanation of each and every word and sentences, but this is the general meaning. So imagine what you're saying when you're purifying this. Okay? So meditation, ready? I might go a little faster. In some places I will pause because, I just want to make sure that I don't want to keep people too long, okay? So this is a meditation. So let's take a refuge first. So I go to refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create from listening to the Dharma, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Okay. So let's see, give me 1 second. Okay, so now just get yourself in a position like we typically do. If you're seated on the floor, just cross your legs. Again, relax, spine is straight and mouth and jaw relaxed. Take deep breaths in and out, maybe 2 or 3. Scan your body so it's comfortable. So we'll set the motivation first for the practice, reflecting on our precious human life, the opportunity that we have found now that we've met the teachings, and a wish to take advantage of this chance as much as possible before we die. And thinking of those in our lives that we know directly or indirectly, that we want to help them in some way, and acknowledging that the place within our hearts that truly wishes to develop, to awaken our qualities of wisdom, compassion, and ability to help others. And how wonderful it would be to free of belief in self-concept, free of the prison of the contracted self. Feeling the great burden of mountains and negativities, misknowing reality and acting out of ignorance that we have been imprinted on our mind stream, which is cluttering our wisdom, counteracting our compassion, and blocking our ability. So wanting to be free of all these blocks, all these mental veils, all these negative habit patterns, and to be free to act in ways beneficial to ourselves and others. So with this wish, we'll do the practice of Vajrasattva. Primary visualization. Visualize in the space before us, Father Vajrasattva and Mother, in union of wisdom and method or compassion, representing the perfect union of our mind with enlightenment, perfect purity radiating white light. And visualizing ourselves surrounded by all living beings, our Father on the right, our Mother on the left, enemies and those beings who agitate us in the space before us, and friends just behind us. And with a wish that all of us will quickly find perfect happiness and taking responsibility to bring that about. Okay? With a deep wish to free our mind of all that which prevents us from actualizing the path quickly, we recite the refuge. Okay, again, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create from listening to Dharma, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By merits I create from listening to Dharma, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. One more time. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By merits I create from listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Then let's meditate on the power of regret, especially calling to our mind specific actions of our body, speech, and mind, which only serve to bring about more suffering for ourselves. Realizing that the definition of negative karma is any action which results in suffering, any actions motivated by ignorance, ignorant liking or disliking of things, not understanding the real causes of our experience. Almost every action I do 24 hours a day is motivated by worldly concern, attachment to comfort of this life. It's like this from the birth to the death in this life, and has been like that from beginningless rebirths. Many of these actions I have created has been non-virtuous, the cause of suffering. Not only that, we continuously keep on breaking our vows, right? We have wrong views, we have negative thoughts, and some harming the holy body sometimes. Having these negative imprints on my mental continuum is unbearable. It is as if I've swallowed a poison. And I must practice the antidote right away and purify all this negative karma immediately and without seconds delay. In this way, bring to the mind specific actions that we know are not in the alignment with our spiritual enlightenment. And then generate a great regret and a strong sense of urgency to wash this away from our mind stream, not wanting even the slightest residue of imprint. And then remembering impermanence and death. Many people my age or younger have died. It's a miracle that I'm still alive and have these incredible opportunities to purify my negative karma. Death is certain, but its time is most uncertain. If I were to die right now, I would be born in other realms, could be higher or lower, depending on your karma. Because I could not practice dharma there, I would remain in these lower realms for many eons if I were to go there. Therefore, how unbelievably fortunate I am to be able to purify my negative karma right now, without even a second's delay, by practicing the Vajrasattva's meditation recitation. Generating bodhicitta. But I'm not practicing this Vajrasattva purification for myself alone. The purpose of my life is to release all hell beings from the 6 realms, gods, demigods, humans, animals, hungry ghosts, and all immediate state beings, intermediate state beings, from all their sufferings and its causes, and lead them to unsurpassed enlightenment. And in order to do this, I must first reach enlightenment myself. And therefore, I must purify all my negative karma immediately by reciting the Vajrasattva meditation recitation. So strongly generating in the mind stream this wish to just be free of all negativities, all the karmic blocks, all the negative habits and patterns that we've created in our minds in this life and in the lives without beginning, not even knowing what kinds of darkness are still obscuring our mind. So then visualize above crown of your head, seated upon lotus and moon seat, our father, Vajrasattva, and mother. Their bodies are white. Each has 1 face and 2 arms. He holds a dorje and a bell, and she a curved knife and a skull cup. They're embracing each other. He's in a Vajra posture, she in a lotus. Vajrasattva is my root guru, the holy mind of all Buddhas, the absolute, who out of his unbearable compassion appears in this form to purify me and all others. In this way, your mind is transformed into Guru devotion, the root of all blessings and realizations of the path to enlightenment. On the moon disk at the Vajrasattva's heart stands a hum, syllable hum, encircled by a garland of 100-syllable mantra. A powerful stream of white nectar flows from the hum and mantra garland. And I am cleansed of all sicknesses, spirit harm, negative karma, and obscurations. We'll just do the mantra 1 time. It is on the side if you wish to look at it, but I'm just going to read it. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Teno Patishta Trido Me Bhava Sutosho Me Bhava Suposho Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Suchame Chittam Shriyam Kurumhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajrima Me Muncha Vajra Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Visualize a final purifying stream of white nectar and light pour from Vajrasattva's holy body and mind. And like a very, very strong shower, completely cleanses from our mind and body every single negativity, every single mental wave. These wash away completely through the soles of our feet, enter a crack in the earth, and are consumed by the Lord of Death amidst blazing fire. The Lord of the Death becomes completely satiated. His mouth is sealed with double dorje. He turns and walks away. The crack in the earth is healed, and our body and mind are completely calm and clear, like crystal. From the crown of my head, Guru Vajrasattva says, child of the race, your negativities, obscurations, and the broken and damaged pledges have been completely purified. Generate a strong faith that all is completely purified, just as Guru Vajrasattva has said. The power of restraint from refraining from creating negative activities again. So before Guru Vajrasattva, please vow never again to commit those negative actions from which I can easily abstain, and not to commit for a day, an hour, or at least a few seconds those negative actions from which I find it difficult to abstain. So now absorption. Guru Vajrasattva is extremely pleased with your pledge. Vajrasattva, father and mother melt into light and dissolve into you. Your body, speech, and mind become inseparably one with Guru Vajrasattva's holy body, speech, and mind. Dedication. Due to these merits, of all 3 times collected by all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and myself, and all other sentient beings which appear to be real, but from their own side, which are empty, may I, who appear to be real but is empty, and achieve Guru Vajrasattva's enlightenment, which appears to be real but empty, and lead all sentient beings to the enlightenment by myself alone. May the precious bodhicitta, the source of all happiness and success for myself and all other sentient beings, be generated within my own mind and in the minds of all sentient beings without even a second's delay. And may that which has been generated be increased. May I and all sentient beings have Lama Tsongkhapa as our direct guru in all our lifetimes. Never be separated from even a second from pure path that is greatly praised by conqueror Buddhas, and actualize the complete path. The 3 principal aspects of the path and the 2 stages of the highest yoga tantra. The 3 principal aspects of the path are renunciation, bodhicitta, and emptiness. And highest yoga tantra, when you're initiated, you develop generation and complete stages. That's what it's talking about. And the root of which the Guru devotion, and the root of which is Guru devotion within our mind stream, as quickly and realized as quickly as possible. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra realized things are, I dedicate all these virtues in the best way that I may follow them after them. Whatever dedication the 3 times victorious ones gone to bliss have admired as best, in the same way, I also perfectly dedicate all these roots of virtue so that I may perform good works. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you can see how one can purify. You can just do a little Vajrasattva practice on a daily basis, and it just talks about bringing Vajrasattva to the head here, visualizing, taking the 4 opponent powers, regretting, reliance, remedy, resolve, and then you start to cleanse yourself. You think about things, and say, they are cleansed, they're gone, they're gone. You do this regularly. 2 things happen. First, they'll go away slowly. Second of all, next time those tendencies come up, it reminds you again. And you're able to say, maybe I should wait. I should not do that. It helps you in so many ways and starts to cleanse it. And you will clear your mind. Okay? So thank you so much for that. Next session preview. I hope to come to the class. I think I will come to the class next class, meet with everybody that comes there. and we'll just kind of do a wrap up. We'll kind of go through again daily practice, just kind of review thing. We'll do meditation and emptiness a little bit, and some topics that we need to cover, and then we'll call it some question and answer session at that point. So I hope you. And I just wanted to ask if you had a chance to do that little walking meditation, looking at things that are impermanent. I hope you did it, and if not, try it. Sometimes it will be very helpful. Just look around in your home or in the park and see how things are impermanent, things are changing. And you'll be amazed how everything changes. All right, 8:15, time to close.
Thank you
Great.
very much, Hemant.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you too, Linda.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
absolutely.
guys.
Yeah,
Thank you for
Linda,
hanging
thank
there.
So
Thank you.
quick reminders.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks.
If you are local, come to class at the Kadampa Center next week. Hemant will be here. And there's lots going on still in this busy spring season. We have Venerable Amy coming the first weekend of April. She'll start a weekend workshop that Friday evening, all day Saturday and Sunday. So look at the website for more information and details about that. We have His Eminence Ling Rinpoche coming on Wednesday, May 8th. Again, look at the website. If you want to come, you'll need to take work off if you're one of those 9 to 5 Monday through Friday workers. So plan ahead. And Geshe Gelik is back on his regular schedule of teaching Wednesday nights and Sundays. So join us when you can. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
See you next
Thank you. Good
Bye.
night.
Oh, and movie night. Yeah, someone just reminded me. Movie night is on Friday, April 12th. Yes. All right. Bye. Thanks,
Bye
Hemant.
now. Bye-bye now. Thank you.
Bye, Jeevan.